I found it in the trash, just sitting there, wrapped in a paper towel like somebody had tried to be careful about it, but not careful enough to tell me. It was a little ceramic bluebird, painted, chipped beak. My mother gave it to me when I turned 30. I had it on the shelf in the living room for 50-some years. Same spot. Never moved it. Dusted around it every week like it was the most natural thing in the world. I stood there in my own kitchen with the trash can open and I looked at it for a long time. Then I went to my room and closed the door. That was the first time I did that. Closed the door in my own house like I was the guest. I sat on the edge of my bed and I did not say a word to anyone. Just sat there, looked at the window, looked at the curtains I had picked out must be 15 years ago, a pale yellow, and I thought, well. Nobody came to check on me. Nobody knocked. I sat there until it got dark outside and then I turned on the lamp and just kept sitting. I was not crying. I was not angry. Exactly. I just did not know what to do with myself. That bluebird had been in the same spot for 50-some years, and now it was in the trash, and nobody had said a word to me about it, not one word. Like it was not mine, like I was not there. I should back up. My name is Ruthie. Ruth Ellen, officially. But nobody has called me that since my mother passed. I am 82 years old. I have been sitting in this room at this facility for going on 8 months, and I have not told a single person here the whole of what happened to me, not the whole thing, because every time I get close to it, I stop myself. I tell myself, well, there are two sides to everything. I tell myself maybe I am not remembering it right. Maybe I am being too hard on her. Maybe I misunderstood something along the way. And then I read those two words under my mattress and I think, no, I remember it right. Let me tell you about my daughter. She came to me about 2.5 years ago and said I should not be alone in that house anymore. Said, what if something happens? Said, let me come stay with you, take care of you. I had been alone in that house for going on 5 years by then. 5 years after my husband passed, just me in the rooms. And Lord, I want to tell you what those 5 years felt like, because I do not think people understand it unless they have lived it. It is not just the quiet. The quiet you can get used to. It is the other things. It is cooking a full meal and then looking at it and thinking, well, who is this for? It is waking up at 2 in the morning and reaching over to the other side of the bed without meaning to. It is the sound of your own name going weeks at a time without being said out loud by anyone who knows you. My husband and I were married 41 years. He was not a perfect man, not by a long shot. He had a temper when he was younger, and he was stubborn about things that did not matter and flexible about things that did, which is the wrong way around. But he was there, he was present, and when he passed, the house became a different kind of place. Same walls, same furniture, same yellow curtains in the bedroom, different air. So when my daughter said, let me come, I said yes before she finished the sentence. She moved in on a weekend. I cooked. Set the table the way I used to when she was young, placemats and everything. I took them out of a drawer I had not opened in years, smoothed them down on the table like it was going to be a regular thing, like she was staying, like something was coming back that had been gone a long time. I remember standing at the stove that evening and thinking, this is going to be all right, this is going to be fine. I had not felt that in a long time. Not that particular kind of fine. That feeling lasted about 3 weeks. Then a man came. She introduced him as a friend. He came for dinner one evening. Polite enough. Helped clear the plates without being asked, which I noticed. Came back the next night. And the one after that. By the end of the first month, he had things in her room. By the second, he was fully moved in. His work boots at my front door, 2 pair. He had 2 pair and he left both of them right there in my entryway, side by side, like they belonged there, like they had always been there. I said to my daughter, I thought it was going to be just us. She said he was going through something. It was temporary. She used that word, temporary, said it the way people say it when they mean the opposite. That was 20-some months before I ended up in this room. I want to be fair. He was not unkind to me directly. He said good morning. He held doors. He was not the kind of person who is rude to an old woman's face. He took up space. That is the only way I know how to say it. He took up space in a way that made it clear the space had been taken. His jacket over the back of my chair, his mail on my kitchen counter, the television on channels I had never watched, at a volume I did not choose. Small things. All of them small, but they added up to something. Then his children came, 2 of them, young, loud in the way that means nobody has said no to them in a while. They ran through my house they ran through it. I tried. I want you to know that. I tried to be the kind of grandmother figure who does not mind the noise, who is glad for the life in the house. Some mornings I could almost get there. Almost. I would sit at the kitchen table with my coffee and hear them in the back of the house and think, well, this is something. This is people. This is not those 5 years of quiet. But then there was the bluebird. One afternoon I went to dust the shelf in the living room and it was gone. I looked behind things, moved some books, looked on the floor, thought maybe it had fallen. Went to the kitchen, looked on the counter, went back to the living room, went to the trash. There it was, paper towel around it. Somebody had known it was breakable and still did not say a word to me. Not a word. I went to my room and closed the door. After that, I started doing that a lot, going to my room, closing the door, not because I was angry, exactly, just because it was the only room left where I felt like I had any right to take up space. The kitchen was always full of people I had not invited. The living room had his things in it, a jacket over the back of my chair, his shoes, papers on the side table. The bathroom down the hall had products I did not recognize crowding my things to the edge of the shelf. My backyard. Lord, I used to have a little garden out there, nothing fancy. Just a strip along the fence where I grew things in old coffee cans. 1 year tomatoes, another year peppers. 1 year I tried cucumbers and they got away from me entirely. Vines going everywhere. But I did not mind. I was out there every morning, just me and whatever was growing. That was my time. My quiet that was a different kind of quiet than the 5 years of being alone. It was chosen quiet. It felt like something. By the time all this was happening, there was a truck parked in the backyard. Not my truck, just sitting there where my coffee cans used to be. I looked out the kitchen window one morning and saw it, and stood there for a while trying to figure out when it had arrived. I could not remember. It had just appeared the way things were appearing, gradually and then all at once. I told myself it was an adjustment. I told myself she loved me. I told myself families are complicated and people go through things and it would settle down eventually. I was very good at telling myself things. About 4 months after she moved in, she sat me down at my kitchen table, my table. I picked it out myself 30 years ago from a furniture store that is long since closed. Round table, wood, 4 chairs. I always liked a round table. No one sits at the head. Everyone is equal. I thought about that when I chose it. She sat across from me and she said, "Mama, I want to talk about the house." She said it would be simpler for everybody if it was in her name. Said something about legal complications when I passed, about probate, about how these things can get messy, and she just wanted to protect me, protect what I had built, make sure everything went smoothly. She was calm about it, reasonable, like it was just a practical matter, like we were talking about updating an insurance policy. She said, "You know I would never do anything to hurt you. You know this will always be your home." I sat there and I thought about my husband being gone, about 5 years of quiet rooms, about how she was my daughter and who else in this world was I supposed to trust. I thought about the placemat drawer, about how I had smoothed those placemats down thinking something was coming back. I thought, she came when I needed her. She is here. This is what family does. I signed the paper. I did not read it all the way through. I saw the address. I saw our names. I picked up the pen and I signed it because she asked me to, and because I thought that was what love looked like, trusting somebody enough to not make them prove themselves. I have been sitting in this room for 8 months thinking about that moment, about how I felt good when I signed it, like I was doing something generous, like I was showing her something about how much I believed in her. I have been sitting here thinking about the 1 second just before I picked up that pen. Something in me said, "Wait, read this properly." I felt it, clear as anything, and I pushed it down. Because she was my daughter, because she was looking at me the way she used to look at me when she was small and needed something, because I did not want her to feel like I did not trust her. Oh, if I could go back to that 1 second. She visits. Not every week, more like every 2 or 3. She always brings something, lotion or a little food from somewhere. We sit and we talk about regular things, how I am feeling, the weather, her job. I try to listen. I watch her hands while she talks. She has a ring I do not recognize, silver, on her right hand. I have never asked about it. Do not know why. Just, I watch it and I think about asking and then I do not. Every single visit I wait for her to bring up the house, for her to say something, anything. She never does. I brought it up myself about 2 months after I arrived here. Said I wanted to come home. She said this place had everything I needed. Said I was safe here. I said I fractured my hip. I finished my rehabilitation. I can walk to the end of this hallway and back. What are we doing? She said, "Mama, do not get upset." I said, "I am not upset. I am asking a question." She changed the subject, and I let her, because I did not know what else to do, because she is my daughter. Because some part of me, even then some stubborn old part of me, was still saying, "She loves you. This will work itself out. Give it time." About 3 weeks ago, she came on a Sunday, brought food. We ate together at the little table they have in these rooms. She told me about her week. I told her my back had been bothering me. Normal, ordinary. And then, in the middle of talking about something else entirely, she mentioned the back bedroom. Said somebody had asked about a new shower head. I said, "What somebody?" She stopped. I watched her stop. She started over. Said she had let some family stay there while I was here, just to keep the house from sitting empty. Said it like that, casually, like it was a reasonable thing she had done that anyone would understand. I looked at her. I said, "What family? Give me a name." She said it was not a big deal. I said, I did not give you permission to put anybody in my house. And she said, Mama, it is not your house anymore. Technically, she said that to my face, right here in this room, like she had been holding it in for a while, and it just came out, like she was tired of going around it. I did not say anything. I just sat there and looked at her. I looked at that silver ring on her right hand. I looked at the food she had brought, sitting there in its little containers on the table. I thought about the placemats. She tried to walk it back, said she did not mean it like that, said technically was just a legal term, said she was going to come get me once things settled down. I said okay, just okay. She left about 20 minutes later. I sat in this chair looking out at the parking lot. Cars coming in, cars going out. I watched a man help an old woman into the passenger seat, close the door for her, go around to his side, careful with her, the way you are careful with someone who matters. They drove away. I thought, 8 months. She has been coming here with lotion and food, talking about the weather, and the whole time somebody has been living in my house, whatever arrangement she has with them. And she has been sitting right here in that chair, talking to me about the weather. I did not sleep that night. Lay in this bed and looked at the ceiling, looked at the water stain up in the corner. It is shaped a little like a boot. I have been looking at it for 8 months, and I have never thought that before. Funny what the mind does at 2 in the morning. I thought about the garden, about the coffee cans along the fence, about how 1 year the tomatoes were so good I did not know what to do with them all, gave bags of them to the neighbors, left them on porches. That was a good year. I cannot remember what else happened that year. Just the tomatoes. I thought about the woman I was 2 years ago, the one who took the placemats out of the drawer and smoothed them down on the table. That woman. Lord, she had no idea. She thought she was saying yes to not being alone anymore. She did not understand what she was actually agreeing to. 2 days later, I called my daughter. I had not slept either night, just lying there going over things. So I called her. She picked up and said, "Hey, how are you feeling?" I said, "I need to ask you something directly. Is somebody paying you to live in that house?" She said, "The house has expenses, property taxes, maintenance." Said somebody has to cover those costs while I am in there. I said, "That is not an answer to my question." She said, "Mama, it is my house." Not technically this time, just, it is my house. Flat, like a door closing. I said, "You promised me. You sat at my kitchen table and you told me this would always be my home. Do you remember saying that?" She said, "Things change." That is all. Not, "I am sorry." Not, "I know what I promised you." Things change. Like it happened to both of us equally. Like I was supposed to nod and understand. Like I was being unreasonable for not understanding. I said, "When can I come home?" She said I was being taken care of where I was. Said she had to go. Said she would call me later. And she hung up. I sat here holding the phone. Just holding it. The screen went dark after a while. I could see my own face in it, a little. Old woman holding a phone in a dim room. I looked at that for a minute. Then I put the phone down on the table. I have been going over and over the moments before all this, not just the signing, all the small moments. When the boots appeared at my front door and I said nothing, when I found the bluebird in the trash and went to my room instead of saying something. Every single time I felt something move in me, something quiet, something that said wait, and I pushed it down because she was my daughter, because pushing it down felt like being reasonable. like being a good mother, like not being the kind of woman who makes everything difficult. I had closed my own bedroom door so many times in that house before I ever fractured my hip. That is the part I keep coming back to. I was already living like a guest before anything was ever signed. I just did not let myself see it that way. Every time I went to my room and closed that door, I told myself I was choosing peace. I told myself I was being the bigger person. I told myself a lot of things. Now, there is a woman here who works for this facility, comes around every Thursday, knocks on every door, checks in, sits with people who want company. She has knocked on my door every Thursday for 8 months, and every time I have told her I was fine. Just a little tired. Thank you for checking. She has kind eyes, patient, the kind of person who would sit with you a long time without filling the silence. I have been lying to that woman every week for 8 months. Not because I do not trust her, because I was ashamed, because I did not want to say out loud that my own daughter did this to me, because once you say it out loud, it becomes real. And for a long time, I was just not ready for it to be real. I kept thinking, maybe it will resolve itself. Maybe she will come and say, Mama, I have been thinking, let us fix this. I kept leaving room for that. I am not leaving room for it anymore. This Thursday I am going to stop saying I am fine. I wrote 2 words down on a piece of paper a few months back when I first heard them from somebody here in the hall. 2 women talking, and one of them used these words, and I stood there and thought, that is it. That is what happened to me. The words have a legal meaning I do not fully understand. I am not a lawyer. I do not know if they apply to my situation. I do not know if anything can be done at this point. I signed what I signed, but I wrote them down, folded the paper, put it under my mattress, and every morning when I wake up and look at that water stain on the ceiling, I reach under and take it out and read it. Like it means something, like it might. I do not know if that woman on Thursdays can help me. She might just sit with me and listen. That would be something, honestly. That would be more than I have had. But I have been carrying this alone for 8 months, and I cannot do that anymore. 8 months is a long time to carry something alone in a room that faces a parking lot. I do not know if I am angry at my daughter. That is the honest truth. I keep waiting to feel more of it, and it does not quite come all the way. Mostly I am just tired and a little ashamed of myself, even though I keep telling myself I should not be. Because I was alone and I was scared and she was my child and I trusted her. Those are not stupid reasons. They turned out not to be enough. Sometimes I sit here and I think about the garden, the coffee cans along the fence. I grew tomatoes 3 years in a row in those cans, some years better than others. One year I got almost nothing. The vines just sat there all summer and did not do much. A little limp, a little yellow, and I pulled them up in October and stood there looking at the empty cans and thought, well, I will try again next year. And I did. Put new soil in, started again in the spring. That is what you do. I do not know why. I keep thinking about that. I am going to stop talking now. My back is starting to bother me. I have been in this chair too long. The cleaning fluid smell is coming from down the hall again. It comes around this time every afternoon. This Thursday, I am telling her, all of it. I do not know what happens after. Maybe nothing, maybe something. But I am done sitting here quiet. I reached under the mattress and found the piece of paper. unfolded it. 2 words in my own handwriting. Read them one more time. Then I folded it up and put it back.